Welcome to the Shootin' Show. Stand by for shots fired.
Hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of the Shootin' Show, and welcome to today's program. Yes, it is a day to wear the old hat here. It is, friends, trust me on this one, it is hotter than a freshly roasted fox in a forest fire, and I believe that's pretty hot. But it's still a nice day to be out shooting. You know, the judge was scolding me the other day about my table muscle here, and if I stay out here many days like this, it's going to go away. Anyway, we're so glad to have you with us, whether you're a new shooter or an experienced shooter. Well, friends, we have a tremendous job to do as gun-owning Americans. We've got to inform the rest of the population who may not know much about guns how we can own and safely handle these firearms, and why we as individual citizens enjoy having them, and why they're such an important part of not only our legal situation or our constitutional rights, but an important part of our way of life. Yesterday I talked to someone from Eastern Europe who really couldn't conceive of the American way of life, the concept of freedom. It is so unique throughout the entire world. So this is something that we have to protect, because if we don't, we're going to lose everything. And the other people we need to inform are these Yahoo politicians, and I don't know a nicer way to put it, because they're not reasonable people. They're not intelligent people. They think they're intelligent, or they have twisted logic, who literally want to take our guns away. We've got to inform them that, hey, we're not going to let them get away with it. We're not going to give up our firearms as American citizens. Doggone it, we're not going to do it. And you can join the Shootin' Show Gun Club today and certainly help us reach more and more people. Well, let's open today's Shootin' Show. We have some interesting guests for you. And what we're going to do, we're going to take our .45 and we're going to load it with a standard issue ball government type loading, and let's compare this to our Corbin. The jug on the right with the standard .45. All right, now then, let's take a Corbin, and you're always hearing me talk about how great Corbin ammunition is. Well, friends, there's a reason we talk about it. Observe the water jug here. Point made. Now, friends, I do want to mention I'm wearing my Cool Dana, which really does make it a lot nicer out here. And of course, the Cool Dana absorbs water, and you put it around your neck, and it certainly keeps you cool for a long time. In fact, you can, every 2 or 3 hours, you can sort of refresh it. It'll actually last about all day, but you can put cool water on it every couple of hours or so, and it really does help. It keeps you a lot cooler. On a day like today, you know, if you're a construction worker, or you're out on the range doing something, you're exposed to a high heat situation, well, these Cool Danas are really wonderful. You can buy these through the Bullet Express. I believe they're $9.95, something like that. Trust me, they're worth it. on a good hot day, it makes your day so much nicer. Well, friends, we have a real pretty gun we're going to be looking at today. This is a Clark heavy Longslide, or long heavy slide .45, made by the good folks at Clark Custom Guns. Now, this gun started as a regular government model .45 Colt, but now it has had the slide lengthened. The Clarks have essentially customized it to a high degree, and we'll be taking a closer look in just a moment. But this particular gun has target grips on it, and the owner of this gun informed me, who was nice enough to loan this to me, that these are not pearl grips. These are, in fact, real ivory, but these were imported long before the ban on ivory coming in this country. So this one is certainly legal. This gun dates from the early 70s, but I tell you what, the Clarks were so far ahead of the game even then that this gun is absolutely up to date today. It has a Bomar rib, very fine custom sights. It is really a very nice package. Of course, it has a superior trigger. The frame has the stippling, some very pretty and functional work there. And this is a gun like this is such a joy to shoot. Well, this was sort of before the IPSC or USPSA, the action type shooting, really became as popular as it is today. But these guns can be used for target competition or for action shooting, or in fact just whatever you need an ultra accurate and ultra reliable .45 to do. we're going to have a little demonstration. We have a regular government model, and I say Longslide. The slide is about 3/4 of an inch or so, a little bit longer than the regular 5-inch barreled government model that most of us are familiar with. And as you can see, take a couple of shots here. See, we have a little recoil. I don't think it's objectionable with the regular 45, but you darn sure got to hold on to it. A 45 is a powerful caliber. Now then, we'll run the same drill with our heavy Longslide. Not as much muzzle jump. Yeah, I don't know if you could tell. I could certainly feel it. You have faster target reacquisition. It's such a very nice package to shoot rapidly and well. Now, of course, this gun was going to be more target gun due to the thumb rest here on the left grip. But with a different left grip, I tell you what, there's just not much you couldn't do with this. My friend's taking a closer look. Of course, you can see the real pretty polish. Got my fingerprints all over it here today on this Clark Heavy Longslide 45. You can see the rib here on the top, the excellent custom sights there. You have the very fine stippling, really a nice pattern here on the front for a non-slip surface. You can see the thumb rest. Now this is more for target type shooting. If it was my gun, heck, I'd make a combat gun out of it. But since it's not my gun, I can certainly admire these very fine ivory grips. I think General Patton said something about pearl handle grips, so we don't want any pearl handle grips on the program. Anyway, of course, we have a custom trigger, and you can tell the slide is quite a bit longer. You can really tell the difference. Shows up more in shooting, I think, than just by the casual look. It has a throated barrel. These guns are extremely reliable and really a treasure to own. This is, in fact, a work of art as far as 45 pistols goes, and even though this gun was made back in the early 70s, it is darn sure just as shootable, just as good as it was the day it came out of the factory. Well, let's take a shot. We've got a carbine bullet here. Let's take a shot with it. To load our 45, of course, pull the slide all the way back and let it go, and of course we'll apply our safety. Now then, you can see these tremendous sights are so easily seen, even through the camera here. Let's take a shot. We've got a real nice trigger, and yes, in fact.
Now, friends, we are extremely pleased to be working with one of the finest magazines that you can find in the United States today, and it's called The New American. And the April 4 issue, which you see on your screen, covers issues like Toward a Police State, using a national epidemic of crime and violence as their justification, media pundits and collectivist politicians are aggressively campaigning to disarm private citizens and strengthen federal law enforcement powers. Yes, friends, this is our type of magazine, mostly because it's true. Now, these people at the New American Magazine are making a special offer available to the Shootin' Show audience for $22 for a 6-month subscription, including the April 4 issue here, which deals with gun control and the things that go on with the politicians in Washington on how they're literally trying to disarm the United States population. Now, trust me on this one. If you're a gun owner, you need to get this issue of the New American. And friends, this magazine comes twice a month. This is really a bargain. They cover all sorts of subjects, such as the Somalian quagmire, as you can see. And how about national service, if you really want the true picture of what this national service is all about. How about the conservative index for the 103rd Congress, subjects like terror in Haiti, the real Aristide. How about Bill Clinton and a question of character, which is most important to most of us, certainly as conservative Americans. And here's a tremendous article on the New World Army. Now, friends, this is one of the finest publications that I think you could find in print anywhere today. It is really a bargain. $22 for 6 months of the New American Magazine. And remember, this is 13 issues, including this powerful gun control issue. And friends, I don't think you'll be disappointed. In fact, if you want to be informed about what's going on in the United States and all sorts of issues that are so important to every last one of us who are really patriotic citizens, you need to start getting the New American. Now, to get it, you can call them at 1-800-727-TRUE, and those numbers are 8783, 1-800-727-8783, and be sure and tell them that you saw it here on the Shootin' Show. It is such an important publication for our time, friends, and to really be informed, if you want to know the truth about what's going on in this country and around the world, again, you need the New American. 1-800-727-TRUE 8783, the New American.
Well, friends, I have really enjoyed shooting and handling this Clark custom gun. You know, so the anti-gun people cannot imagine how much pleasure we get out of a fine piece of equipment, a fine piece of machinery. Incidentally, this gun has about a 3.5-pound trigger, and honestly, that's about as light as I personally want a .45 automatic. But let's see it in action.
We want to show you some really nice, really fine shooting glasses. As you can see, I have them on and they're comfortable. They're adjustable at the temple. We got these from Lone Star Sports Optics and we're just real pleased with them. These glasses have a polycarbonate lens and they're scratch resistant. These are recommended by the Shootin' Show, and if you would like information on how to get them, here's how.
For information on Lone Star Sports Optics, you can call them at area 817-573-0530. Again, area 817-573-0530.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're fortunate today in having with us Larry Pratt, the executive mogul of Gun Owners of America. He's down here from his headquarters in Virginia, and we want to do an interview with him. And Larry, it's all yours.
Well, thank you. Good to be here. One thing I would like to let people know is that the ban on assault weapons is not a done deal. It is still in the Congress, and people can still get in touch with their senators and their representatives and urge them not to vote for that thing. In fact, to vote for against the whole crime bill that it's going to be part of when it comes back out from a conference committee. The thing was passed, the ban was passed in the House and in the Senate, but since the crime bill that it's attached to has different versions in both houses, it's got to be reconciled before they can do anything. And we've even made postcards available. If people want to send those in, they can call a toll-free number, and there's still time to do it at 1-800-886-8852. 1-800-886-8852. I really encourage them to do something to keep those congressmen aware that we do know that they're doing this, that this thing is still there, and that we don't like it. They've got to hear from us, though.
Larry, we've been pushing that on this program now for the past several weeks, and give me your idea on the fact that we have allowed our opposition to seize control of the vocabulary by calling it an assault weapons.
Part of the problem, I think, has been in when this thing has been defended, it's been in terms of, well, these guns aren't really assault weapons. They're really like sporting firearms, and in fact they are. Mechanically, there's not really a whole lot of difference. They're mostly cosmetic differences on the outside. The problem is, what if a particular firearm like the Tech-9 or the Uzi really isn't a sporting firearm? Does that mean then that we ought to say, well, it's okay to ban it? The fact of the matter is that even sporting firearms have a military application, and it's because of that they can't be touched by the government, because they're protected by the Second Amendment, by that militia clause in that Second Amendment, which protects them because they're what we need, you and I need, as part of the well-regulated militia. And I guess the biggest word game that's been played in our time is that well-regulated now means well-regulated by the government. But when they wrote the Second Amendment, they didn't mean that. They meant that a well-regulated militia was well-practiced, well-disciplined, could carry out an order that the commanding officer they elected could give them. And certainly when you shoot at the government, as those boys did, you're not well-regulated by the government.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Shootin' Show, we try to give you the plain, unvarnished facts and truth. And this is whether we're talking about politicians or talking about guns or talking about ammunition. Now, whether you've got a rifle, like this Colt Sporter, or whether you're talking about a revolver, like this Wesson 357 Magnum, or whether you're talking about a Derringer, like this one from American Derringer. Believe me, Corbine ammunition is the best there is. Corbine Bullet Company. That's 1-800-626-7266. I repeat, 1-800-626-7266. This Corbine ammunition really works. My position has been, and it's been supported, I think, by an article that you wrote recently for Guns and Ammo, that the Second Amendment does not grant the right to keep and bear arms. That right existed long before the Second Amendment was adopted, and the Second Amendment simply tells the government to leave that right alone.
Absolutely. The whole Bill of Rights was intended to make it clear to the government what the limits were of governmental action. And in the case of the Second Amendment, the founders expressed very clearly the idea that you're talking about. For instance, George Mason said when he was defending the Second Amendment in the Virginia ratifying convention, the surest and most effectual way to enslave a people is to first disarm them. Jefferson had similar ideas and even went beyond that and said that the people retain the right to keep and bear arms because they may need to overthrow tyranny from government.
And Mao Zedong expressed it adequately when he said, power comes from the mouth of a gun.
Or, as George Washington said, firearms are the people's freedom or liberty teeth. So a lot of people have had the same idea that if you don't have the ability to back your freedom up when you're faced with a tyrannical government, you really don't have any freedom at all.
Well, right now, Larry, we've got going a lot of legislative attention and activity toward minors, toward children. And depends on how you define children. I had my first 3 firearms before I was 10 years old.
Surely.
What I'm afraid of is by setting the limits at 18 or 20 or 21, they've got a bill in the Louisiana legislature now for 21, is that we're going to rear a complete generation of people who have had no experience with firearms and therefore have no idea about their value.
I've got members that have told me from Gun Owners of America the same thing that you were saying. And in their case, somebody might say, well, of course, you came from southern area, that's what we would expect. These fellows came from New York City. They carried rifles onto subways on their way to school because they were going to have target practice on their team. Now, access to firearms for young people, north or south, is not what's new in our country, and that's not what's causing the problem with young people. They actually, I would think, have less exposure to firearms, probably north and south, and especially in the north, now than they did 30 and 40 years ago. The difference is the kind of ideas that are into people's head. A judge in Washington, D.C. said, what's different are not the guns, what's different are the kids. And that's the problem. We're not going to do away with the problem by saying that they can't have a gun until they're a certain age.
Well, even this most recent activity with an unnamed sports quote hero didn't use a gun. That was a knife or pitching tool or something like that. Or as Archie Bunker said, would you feel better if they got pushed off the top of a building?
Right. Actually, there was a fellow that recently wrote in the National Review, Jared Taylor, I guess took from a book that he had done. But anyway, he pointed out from FBI crime data that except in a very limited area of our country, we don't even really have a crime problem. The crime problem that the media is talking about is a problem that afflicts young black men in center cities where, coincidentally, they've had terrible gun control laws which make the victims primarily unarmed people. That's where you have murder rates approaching 225 per 100,000. But in the rest of America, when you take out the black population, you have a murder rate that is 5 per 100,000. They have half again as much of a murder rate in the poster child country for Handgun Control Incorporated in Great Britain. They have a 7.4 per 100,000 murder rate, half again as much as the rest of the United States. It's not the firearms. Actually, if it's anything, it's the absence of firearms that has led to such an intense crime problem in some of these center city areas.
Larry, isn't it true that not only in the United States, but in every city in the United States and every foreign country, that when firearms control become tighter and tighter, the crime rate goes up and up?
Our country has certainly been an example of that. The cities that have the greatest murder problems, starting with Washington, D.C., where guns are really illegal for anybody, and certainly to use in self-defense.
Including for Carl Rowan.
Even including for the man, Carl Rowan, who said, use the gun, go to jail for a year.
Yeah.
He sure fought that idea real hard when it came his turn. They have a murder rate of 80 per 100,000, and again, it's only as low as 80 because they have a lot of the areas of the city that aren't young black men in those center city crime areas. But in New York City, you have an almost identical crime problem, and again, you've got gun control at its worst in these areas. When Florida decided that they wanted to do something about their crime problem 5 years ago, they made it easier for people to have guns on them.
It worked, didn't it?
Boy, did it work. One of the things that they were finding was that country at large, 85% of the crime against people occurs outside the home. Crooks don't get us when we're in the home because they know that's where we got our guns. Florida made it easier for people to carry guns, concealed. And when they liberalized that law, the murder rate went down over the next 5 years, 21%, even while in the rest of the country it was going up 12%.
And I understand that in Orlando, when they had a well-publicized program for women, that rape rate dropped by some staggering amount.
Well over 70%. The next year, that was back in the mid-70s, they had a rape problem, and the police opened up the range and advertised women can come in and get trained. And you're right, it just, the crime rate went down to the floor.
Or as the expression goes, criminals prefer unarmed victims.
Or you can't rape a 38.
I like that too. Larry, it's nice to have you. We appreciate having you in Louisiana. I wish you were the head of the National Rifle Association with more resources at your control.
I appreciate that, but we're growing, and if people would like to find out about joining us, they can call us at 1-800-886-8852, toll-free, and we'll send them some information.
Larry, repeat that. I'm a member of Gun Owners of America, and I think that everybody else ought to be. Give us that number again.
Call us at 1-800-886-8852, and we'll send a newsletter and some other information about Gun Owners of America.
Thank you, Larry, and God bless you.
Thank you. You too.
Friends, all of us as shooting enthusiasts should be subscribing to Shotgun News, the trading post for anything that shoots. 3 big issues monthly with literally thousands and thousands of firearms bargains. Shotgun News, Post Office Box 669, Hastings, Nebraska, the zip code 68902, their phone number, area 402-463-4589, MasterCard or Visa for subscriptions only. Now call them at 1-800-345-6923.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've just seen us finish an on-camera interview with Larry Pratt, Executive Director of Gun Owners of America. Now, Gun Owners of America is one of the greatest gun organizations in the world. They really represent us, and they do not compromise. And we've made a special arrangement with Gun Owners of America for members of the Shootin' Show Gun Club, so that if you are a member of Shootin' Show Gun Club, you can also become a member of Gun Owners of America for an additional $10. Or, if you want to become a member of the Shootin' Show Gun Club, a $25 cost, add 10 to it for $35, and you've got a $45 value for $35, and you're a member of 2 of the really great gun organizations. Gun Owners of America will do a better job of representing us than anybody else that I know of. Larry Pratt is so articulate, as you could see from the interview that we had of him. And incidentally, next thing I want to talk about a little bit is the Christmas Fund. We're still getting contributions coming in on the Christmas Fund, and we want to remind you to keep it up. If you haven't taken a plain sheet of paper and folded it so it fits into an envelope and slipped a $1 bill in there, or more if you happen to feel flush at the time, and send it to us, we will use it in defeating some of these anti-gun politicians. Now, I have gotten correspondence from 2 of the politicians. I've gotten correspondence from Ollie North, who during the campaign for his Senate nomination apparently came out in greater support of the Second Amendment than he had before. And consequently, I would have to say that a vote for him would be a vote for a Republican majority in the Senate, and a Republican majority in the Senate is what's needed to get the Senate out of the hands of Senator Mitchell from Maine, who is bound, bent, determined to try to limit our gun rights as much as he can while the Democrats still have a majority in the Senate. The other one is Kay Bailey Hutchinson. Now, I can't say anything too kind about Kay Bailey Hutchinson. She's a senator from Texas. She's in a primary. The primary is against a Mr. Fisher, who's a Democratic nominee. And Ms. Hutchinson wrote me and told me that she had voted against the Brady bill. But the official Senate records show that she voted in favor of the Brady bill. Now, I'm concerned about politicians that tell you one thing when actually they've done something else. However, unless Mr. Fisher comes out in strong support of the Second Amendment, I still have to say that Kay Bailey Hutchinson is the best of the candidates in the Texas race, because it would give another Republican in the Senate, or it would at least keep a Republican seat in the Senate. And it's important, the first vote that they take when they reconvene is to see who is going to organize the Senate. And if the Republicans organize the Senate, we're much less likely to have any wild gun control bills that are coming out. We're much more likely to have our Second Amendment rights recognized. Remember, it's still the fact. The Second Amendment does not give us the right to keep and bear arms, because that right predated the Constitution by hundreds of years. What it does do is tell the federal government to keep their cotton-picking hands off of it. And that's what we want them to do. Just leave us alone.
Well, sir, I think that's extremely well said. And as we saw recently down at our own state capitol, individuals and gun owners can get things done if they show up. They can testify at some of these committee meetings. We actually can do some things, friends. It doesn't take millions of people in the vast amounts that we would sometimes think. If we could get that that small group, we're talking 5% of our general population, that would stand up and say enough is enough, we can do darn near anything we want to do in this country. But first of all, we've got to get people to wake up. We cannot sit around and let the ultra-left, the gun grabbers, have their way at these committee meetings in government.
Well, let me tell you about that, Johnny. There were 8 gun bills that were before the House Criminal Justice Committee, and we got all 3 of them killed for this session of the legislature at least. We have to do it every year. We have to do it in every special session, every time the legislature meets. That's an old adage, you know, that says no man's life, liberty, or wife is safe as long as Congress is in session.
Well, I think what you said is so important. This is an ongoing battle. Now, you know, occasionally we have gigantic battles like World War II, literally for our freedom, or the war between the states in the United States, or the War of Revolution against England.
Johnny, now that's the war of northern aggression.
Now, wait a minute, Judge. We got a lot of people in the North to watch this show. Anyway, for our purposes, war between the states. The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station. Judge, put better, what I mean is, rather than have a gigantic upheaval all at one time, it's kind of like going on a crash diet. If you can gain all the weight you want to and then go on a monster crash diet, you can kill yourself, okay? We have freedoms the same way. We have to work at it a little every day, like being in shape or something else. We've got to participate in these elections. We've got to let these congressmen, these senators, these local politicians know exactly how we feel. We can't do it sitting at home. We're going to have to get active, or literally, folks, they're going to take away everything we've got. And we're the finest, most decent people in the country, in so many cases, have yet to be heard from. And we can do it. And here's how you can do it. You can join the Shootin' Show Gun Club. Here's how. Yes, friends, you can call us at 1-800-895-7916. Join the Shootin' Show Gun Club. You can get the Bull Express discounts for an extra $10, and say so. For an extra $10, we will also sign you up for the Great Gun Owners of America organization. This is a tremendous thing. Again, $25 for our annual membership fee for the Shootin' Show Gun Club. Another $10 for the Gun Owners of America also included membership. If you're already a Shootin' Show Gun Club member, you can get the membership for the extra $10. We really appreciate Larry making us this proposal. Friends, we absolutely cannot afford to give our country away to these socialists who want to control every aspect of our lives. Please join the Shootin' Show Gun Club today. We can do it. We've got to.
Remember, the best quote that we had, and the latest one we have from Sarah Brady, is that we cannot achieve our dream of a socialist America until we totally disarm all those who would never agree.
Are you ready? Stand by.
Hello folks, I'm Lenny McGill. Welcome to the USPSA National Championships. Today we're coming to you from just outside of Quincy, Illinois at the Pike Adams Sportsman's Alliance shooting facility. The United States Practical Shooting Association is one of the fastest growing shooting organizations in the country. In fact, practical pistol shooting is one of the fastest growing shooting sports in the world. Men, women, and juniors engage in a friendly competition that emphasizes gun safety, shooting accuracy, and speed with a firearm. Now, coming up in today's program, we'll show you how you can become a member of the USPSA. Plus, we'll see the very best practical pistol shooters in the world compete for cash and prizes as the USPSA National Championship gets underway. Stage 9 is named Spare Change, sponsored by Wilson's Gun Shop, with Mike Harris as the Chief Range Officer. Here, the shooter starts with a rolled-up newspaper in the strong hand and a handful of spare change in the weak hand. At the start command, the competitor will draw and engage 3 paper targets from Box A, then proceed to Box B and engage 3 partial targets, and finally, hustle over to Box C and shoot 2 paper and 1 steel knockdown target. This is a speed stage with 17 required hits for a total of 85 points. Since all the targets are close, the top shooters will blaze through this with incredible speed. Now, coming up first here at Stage 9 is Jerry Barnhart.
Are you ready? Stand by.
Jerry Barnhart blazes through with an excellent score, 11.89 seconds, factors out to 6.8124. Now here's Ken Tapp. Ken, of course, is one of the old-timers on the circuit, over 60 years old, but he can sure handle that limited class 45. Ken Tapp is 63 years old, and he still shoots very well. A good time, 16.64 seconds. The USPSA competition is open to shooters of all levels of experience, and each are classified according to their skill. Therefore, you are able to compete against others of similar abilities and enjoy the friendly competition that has helped make this sport one of the fastest growing shooting sports in the world. USPSA competition is fun, exciting, and challenging.
If you're finished, unload and show clear.
Now, Rob Latham's turn is up at Stage 9, Spare Change.
Are you ready? Stand by.
Good run for Rob. 11.49 seconds, the highest hit factor we've seen, 7.0496. Now, if anybody can beat that speed, it's this next shooter from the Philippines. Here's Jethro Dionisio.
Are you ready? Stand by.
Jethro Dionisio shows why he won the World Speed Shooting Championship 2 different times. He gets through Stage 9 with the fastest time yet of 11.04 seconds, which allows him to take first place with a hit factor of 7.0652. Right behind is Rob Latham. Rick Bowerman is 3rd, Jerry Barnhart registers 4th, and Todd Jarrett comes in 5th place. Join the USPSA. Practical shooting is the fastest growing and most dynamic shooting sport in America today. And now you can become part of the action by joining the United States Practical Shooting Association. With your membership, you'll receive a full 12-month subscription to Front Sight Magazine, the official USPSA publication, a USPSA membership patch, and a membership card which enables you to compete at over 350 different shooting clubs around the country and enables you to be nationally recognized in the USPSA National Classification System. You will also receive the USPSA handbook that includes information on how to get started and all the rules of the game. Plus, you'll get to meet some of the nicest people in the world. The USPSA is open to men, women, and juniors who like to shoot and enjoy the challenge of friendly competition. So join the USPSA today. For just $30, you'll receive everything you need to become a USPSA member. Or send your check or money order to USPSA, P.O. Box 811, Cedro Woolley, Washington, 98284. Or call now, 1-800-995-5646.
the bag open. Now, which way is that old sniper gonna come from?
Reliable information about hunting isn't hard to find. Just go to your local Winchester Ammunition Advisory Center
Harry?
before you look like a babe in the woods.
Harry?
Colt, a proud tradition for over a century and a half. Designing and manufacturing firearms to state-of-the-art specifications today. Colt, the legend lives.
Back now with Stage 6, Milking Time, sponsored by Ed Brown Products, with Marshall Todd as the chief range official. This is another field course with 20 rounds fired at 7 paper targets and 6 knockdown steel poppers. In this innovative stage, the shooter starts sitting and milking the cow, and at the start command engages 3 targets from box A. Then you move to box B and shoot 3 steel and 2 paper targets. From there, you go to box C and you must shoot under the tractor at 3 steel and 2 paper targets. Next up is Bruce Pyatt, a law enforcement officer from the East Coast. Pyatt won the 1991 Soldier of Fortune 3-gun match, and he competes at the Bianchi Cup. I talked to him about the difference between IPSC and Bianchi.
After you're done shooting, you look around and yeah, that was fun. You know, after the Bianchi Cup, you're pretty intense, and there's concentration comes into play, and you have to stay subdued. You can't get excited when you're shooting real accurate Bianchi style, and this is just fun. You know, you shoot real fast.
Okay, Bruce, let's have some fun here at Milking Time. Pyatt gets through with a good time, 17.16 seconds. Factor's good, too, at 5.711. Next up, our next shooter will be Matt McLaren. Matt is from Canada. Well, he's actually moved here to Oklahoma, and he's shooting at the USPSA Nationals for the 3rd year in a row. Matt is a very good competitor. He's got a good time here, too, 15.10 seconds. Hit factor 6.3816. He's not feeling well at this match, so he may not perform as well as he could. But our next shooter is Todd Jarrett. He's having a very good, steady match so far through 4 or 5 different stages. Todd's got to have a little bit of a rug burn on that knee there. He slid into first base in a sense, had a good time, 14.96 seconds. Factors out to 6.551. Todd was our overall winner last year, and I asked him about the pressure of being the returning champ.
Solid. I've been solid. I've been shooting well. I want to come in here and just do the best I can do in this match. And I'm going to shoot the same pace I shot last year. I don't want to have to do anything different. Just shoot my pace. And I made a little mistake this morning. But everybody's made a mistake. A lot of points in this match. A lot of good competitors. A lot of good shooters this year. More than, I'd say 10 more shooters this year have the capability of being in top 16 than they were last year.
And here's one of those shooters, Jerry Barnard, who's having an excellent match. He's on his way to winning this match with a good run here. Let's see how he does at Milking Time. Jerry Barnhart finishes stage 6, Milking Time, sponsored by Ed Brown Products, with a great time of 14.96 seconds, which factors out to 6.7169, and slightly edges out Rob Latham's 6.6667. So Barnhart takes first place, Michael Voigt was 3rd, Todd Jarrett was 4th, and Matt McLaren comes in 5th place.
Get ready to order the most exciting videotape ever offered on television. It's the best of guns, guns, guns. 60 minutes of action, excitement, and the most amazing display of firearms available on video. Pistols, rifles, shotguns, and machine guns. See Bob Munden, the fastest gun who ever lived. USPSA pistol competition, the Steel Challenge, U.S. Marine Corps weapons, machine guns from around the world, and lots of surprises. If you like guns, you'll love the best of guns, guns, guns. Available only through this special TV offer. Fast draw competition, hand cannon, Soldier of Fortune firepower, how to shoot fast, and lots more like you've never seen it before in this 60-minute action-packed video. Use your credit card to order toll-free now. Call 1-800-942-8273. You'll receive the best of guns, guns, guns for just $29.95 plus $4 shipping. By ordering now, you'll receive this 28-page gun video catalog absolutely free. So call with your credit card right now, 1-800-942-8273, or send check or money order to 7888 Ostro Street, Suite A, San Diego, California, 92111.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
The USPSA is one of the fastest growing shooting sports in America today. It's easy to get started because you can shoot with the handgun you already own. Two of the most important items you'll need are eye and ear protection, such as a good pair of shooting glasses and ear protection like these foam pellets or these ear muffs. In this program, you've seen our competitors using a variety of different handguns. There's two requirements: that it be in good working condition and that it be 9mm or above. This standard Smith & Wesson revolver can be used quite effectively in USPSA competition. Another out-of-the-box type gun is this Taurus 9mm semi-auto pistol. Both of these qualify for the limited category. Or if you like, you could use a modified semi-automatic pistol to get started. And some of the advanced shooters are using customized and highly modified semi-auto pistols with scopes, and both of these guns compete in the unlimited category. The choice is really up to you. The key is to shoot safely, to challenge yourself, and to have fun. Call the toll-free number on your screen to join and to receive more information about the USPSA. I'm Lenny McGill. Safe shooting. The Super Squad started the week off with Stage 2, called The Runner, sponsored by Caspian Arms, with the chief range official being Sherry Freer. This is a Comstock sport stage with 8 paper targets, 2 shots each for a total of 16 rounds or 80 points. At the start signal, the shooter will draw and engage target number 1 from the shooter's box, then advance to targets 2 through 6 with 2 rounds each as they become visible. Finally, they'll advance to targets 7 and 8 and shoot through a port in the window. All of the targets must be engaged behind the various fault lines. Now, this stage is basically a speed drill, both in athletic running ability and in how fast you can shoot, as the targets are at very close distances. You'll see that there is a distinct advantage to shooting a high-capacity pistol in this stage, as there are no mandatory reloads. The trick is to run and shoot and not have any foot faults, as there are 5 different shooting positions. Next up is Bill Rogers. Rogers is, of course, a former FBI agent and a member of the USPSA Board of Directors. Here he is at Stage 2, runner, shooting a Glock 45 stock gun. Bill Rogers has always been a fan of the limited class competition. His time here is 13.49 seconds, hit factor 5.486. I talked to him about the limited class and what's happening here in 1992.
All right, so 1992 is a new year in a lot of ways, in that the limited class is first introduced here at the National Championship. Tell me about the limited class and how it can help the sport of USPSA.
Well, it basically is a stock gun. There's slight modifications you can do to it, but primarily it's try to keep the cost down for the shooter that's just getting into the sport, and also for the shooter like myself who really doesn't have time to go to matches and shoot some of the high-tech guns. I do a lot of teaching, so I have a chance to demonstrate with a real gun a lot, and for me to go out and do a lot of work with some of the more complicated optics and so forth is difficult for me to do. So really it's an entry level and get people into the sport that police officers, military people, military personnel, law enforcement, obviously, they're not into the optics and the widgets and gadgets and compensators. It's a non-compensated, non-optical basic gun.
Now our next shooter came from Brazil, Paulo Roberto Vilela. He's a very good shooter. Watch him fly through this stage.
Stand by.
Nice footwork. He got through with a time of 11.60 seconds and a hit factor of 6.034. Really good footwork there. Was able to get across those fault lines without actually hitting the ground before he shot. Here it is in slow motion. Now keep an eye on his feet. Shoot and bang. Both shots off. And watch this one here. He'll shoot. Just got it off. Very close, I'm sure. I'm glad the official was watching that one. Now, Doug Koenig, of course, is a world champion in his own right. He won the World IPSC Championship.
Are you ready?
Here he is at stage 2.
By.
And Doug has another good time, 11.18 seconds, factors out to 7.0662. Now, looking at the overall match results for Stage 2, the runners, sponsored by Caspian Arms, Ron Avery finished first with a hit factor of 7.1497. Jerry Barnhart was a close second, Doug Koenig was third, Jim Nelson was fourth, and John Sale was recorded in fifth place. Todd Jarrett came in 12th, Rob Latham finished 14th, and Roberto Teagle from Venezuela finished 23rd. Join the USPSA. Practical shooting is the fastest growing and most dynamic shooting sport in America today. And now you can become part of the action by joining the United States Practical Shooting Association. With your membership, you'll receive a full 12-month subscription to Front Sight Magazine, the official USPSA publication, a USPSA membership patch, and a membership card which enables you to compete at over 350 different shooting clubs around the country and enables you to be nationally recognized in the USPSA National Classification System. You will also receive the USPSA handbook that includes information on how to get started and all the rules of the game. Plus, you'll get to meet some of the nicest people in the world. The USPSA is open to men, women, and juniors who like to shoot and enjoy the challenge of friendly competition. So join the USPSA today. For just $30, you'll receive everything you need to become a USPSA member. Or send your check or money order to USPSA, P.O. Box 811, Cedro Woolley, Washington, 98284. Or call now, 1-800-995-5646.
Get ready to order the most exciting videotape ever offered on television. It's the best of guns, guns, guns. 60 minutes of action, excitement, and the most amazing display of firearms available on video. Pistols, rifles, shotguns, and machine guns. See Bob Munden, the fastest gun who ever lived. USPSA pistol competition, the Steel Challenge, U.S. Marine Corps weapons, machine guns from around the world, and lots of surprises. If you like guns, you'll love the best of guns, guns, guns. Available only through this special TV offer. Fast draw competition, hand cannon, Soldier of Fortune firepower, how to shoot fast, and lots more like you've never seen it before in this 60-minute action-packed video. Use your credit card to order toll-free now. Call 1-800-942-8273. You'll receive the best of guns, guns, guns for just $29.95 plus $4 shipping. By ordering now, you'll receive this 28-page gun video catalog absolutely free. So call with your credit card right now, 1-800-942-8273, or send check or money order to 7888 Ostro Street, Suite A, San Diego, California, 92111.
Stage 4 is called Get Down Dummy, sponsored by Competition Electronics with Rosie Roselle as the CRO. This stage consists of 8 paper targets and 6 no-shoot targets. The twist here is that the dummy must be shoved to the ground and remain there with his chest touching the ground while the shooter engages targets 1 through 4. Then advance the shooting box B and engage targets 5 through 8 under the board. Now, because the dummy is spring activated, a foot must be kept on his back at all times while shooting in box A. There are a total of 16 shots for 80 points. You can shoot as many shots as you like, but of course, the fastest time with the highest point total wins. Our first shooter here is Kippy Boykin. Kippy is from Mesa, Arizona, which is a hotbed for practical shooting. In fact, you can shoot 7 days a week in competition shooting matches in Mesa, Arizona. Here she is at Get Down Dummy. Kippy moves well and gets through with a time of 11.57 seconds, but it's still a little lower than Kate Clark's hit factor, 5.013. Now here's 14-year-old Sarah Forrester. Sarah picked up a couple shots there, was very slow. Her time 19.04 seconds, factors low at 2.317. I talked with Sarah earlier about women and practical shooting.
Are there a lot of ladies down at your club the way you shoot?
No, there's a lady who comes down from Boone and shoots down with us a lot. I think it's great. I like it.
Yeah. What do you think about the Nationals here at the USPSA Nationals?
They're cool. it's real competitive. It's a lot to do.
Now, friends, we wanted to show you part of the USPSA Nationals. That's the 92 Nationals, in fact. But we have so many people who don't understand what practical shooting is, and we darn sure want to bring our new viewers up to speed on just what some of the action and practical shooting is all about. We'll finish the 1992 Nationals, USPSA Nationals, on our next show. And by the way, we're really getting in some great tapes from our Shootin' Show Lady Contest. So we want to encourage all the ladies to please, those of you who would be interested in representing the Shootin' Show, we're going to the Soldier of Fortune Convention out there in Las Vegas. It's a great trip, and we'll have several things that I think you'll really enjoy doing. So please, here's how to send your tape to the Shootin' Show Lady Contest. Now, ladies, all you have to do is send a 5-minute or less videotape in to the Shootin' Show here, 554 Kings Highway, Shreveport, Louisiana, zip code 71104. And all you have to do is just say why you believe in the Second Amendment and why you like the Shootin' Show and why you'd like to be the Shootin' Show lady. Because really, our entrants are going great, but we know there are some terrific ladies, and what we'd like to do, we're going to start showing some of the videos that have been sent in to us. We've really gotten some good ones, but we want to encourage everyone who'd like to enter to do so today. Now, friends, we're looking at 2 of the finest small handguns that I'm aware of. These, of course, are from American Derringer Corporation. On your left, you have the Model 1, which is available in over 50 chamberings, and on the right is their double-action Derringer, which is very similar to the old high-standard design, except it's been modernized. This particular one is in the 38 special chambering. Now, friends, sometimes it's hard to have a large handgun with you, but you can always have one of these American Derringers. Call them 1-800-642-7817. Well, friends, it's happened again. I hate to say this, but we have run out of time for today's program. Remember, next week we're going to be finishing the USPSA Nationals. Now, remember, on your transponders on G4, we're moving on July 7 back to transponder or channel 23 on July 7. So please, you engineers who are taping our program off this Thursday night broadcast, please make a note of that. July 7, we're changing to G4 channel 23. Same bird, but different channel. So until next time, I have been Johnny Rowland from myself, the judge, and Kurt. We'll see you on the next Shootin' Show.